Week 3, time for the fitness topic. Let's discuss fitness. Now understand, when we're switching week to week to week, we're not switching week to week to week. We're adding week to week. We're still doing mindset. We're still doing diet. We're still doing those self-reflections, still doing those negative mindset burpees. We're still sticking to the diet. We're just adding these things on. Let's add this fitness knowledge onto what we're already doing. We're on the fucking right path, all right? Now, I know fitness, this chapter, is going to be the fun part for most of us because we actually get to see the fitness aspect, where as far as the past two, we just get to feel it. The diet's kind of the in-between. We get to feel the mindset. We get to see and feel the diet. Now we get to get into what we're going to see. We get to feel the strength, but we're going to see this transformation. Understand this, with the fitness realm, if you're here for fat loss, you don't have an obesity problem, you have a muscle problem. Whether it's lack of muscle stimulus, or both, understand muscle is the reason for your metabolism. Now, the main reason why we focus on hypertrophy exercise programs is because the more muscle you have, the more calories you burn. The more calories you burn, the more fat you lose. So on and so forth, as long as you're sticking to your diet. That's why we focus on hypertrophy exercise. I know this is repetitive, it's kind of redundant, it may even seem cliche, but this is the number one thing I wish I learned at a very early stage when it comes to fitness, comes to muscle growth, comes to overall strength and physical development, is mindset. I know it sounds crazy, but mind-muscle connection is key for muscle growth. Once you have this down, you'll be ahead of everybody. Mind-muscle connection may take years to get down for some people. But if you can get this down as soon as possible, just understanding how to get the mind to communicate with specific muscles, to activate them, to put them under the most stress possible in order for them to grow, it's optimal. It's going to be the best thing you ever learn when it comes to bodybuilding or muscle building or any type of strength development, all the above. What this means is, when you're performing an exercise, to be able to get individual muscle groups that are supposed to be working and get them working as much as possible. Now, being able to do this will be able to put stress on specific muscles that you're actually using, and tell the body, the mind will communicate to the body that we need to force this muscle to grow in order to survive. The body is built for survival. That's what a lot of people don't understand. Now, if the body is stressed, or it feels like it's in starvation mode, or your cortisol level's too high, to break down the science of that, really your stress responses to it, if you're in a negative stress response, the body is going to prepare for famine. Like, let's say somebody is under eating by far too much. You got these people that eat that one meal a day and they're still gaining fat. That's because people eat one meal a day and the body responds to it like, fuck, we got to prepare for famine. We got to take all this food and we got to store it onto the body, because we're not going to eat tomorrow barely. We might not eat for the next few days. We have to store this onto the body. The body will do that. It's built for survival. But if you're consuming proper nutrients, your macros are on point, you still can build muscle while burning fat. But we're going to focus on burning the fat part. You can build muscle while burning fat. Actually, you probably will during this process. You probably will have an increase in lean muscle tissue if you are tracking it accordingly, while losing body fat percentage. Just as the body can undereat, if you are eating proper nutrients, proper macros, and you are putting the body under this resistant stress, this resistant tension that the body is placed under, now the mind is going to tell the body, hey, we need to build this muscle so we can fucking execute this a lot better next time. That's how the body's going to perceive stress. That's why people in prison, they end up putting on muscle pretty easily, is because they're in a warlike environment. In the military, they put on muscle easily because they're in a warlike environment. That's the mindset they have. We have to put on muscle to survive. We have to force the body to grow in order to take on these challenges that are in front of us. Now, the best way to build muscle is 40 to 70 seconds of constant time under tension. What does that mean? I know most of you are used to kind of the 10 to 12 rep method, and when you first start out exercising, especially even I did it when I was younger, you get these 10 to 12 reps and you start banging them out as fast as you can. You're just getting it out of there. You just want to get it done as fast as possible, and you feel like you're doing something. While you're doing it, you're seeing all your muscles flex. Your form is shit, all the above. Now, when you do those 10 to 12 reps, understand you're probably finishing them in 10 to 12 seconds. Now, what I like to focus on is spending about 4 to 5 seconds per rep. Can equal up to 40 to 70 seconds of constant time under tension. Now, with these 40 to 70 seconds, if you only have 10 to 12 reps, Takes 4 to 5 seconds per. Like I said earlier in the onboarding video with the tempo. Tempo is key. Maybe 2-1-2. 2-1-2 meaning I'm going to come down for 2 seconds. If I'm doing curls, I'm coming down for 2 seconds. 1, 2, coming back up, squeezing for 1 second, coming back down. 1, 2, coming up. 1, 2, squeeze. 1, 2, 1, 2, squeeze. 2 seconds up, 1 second squeeze. 2 seconds down. If we're in this for 10 to 12 reps, what does that mean? For 50 to 60 seconds during that exercise, during that set, is going to be 50 to 60 seconds of constant time under tension. Also, what's going to be key for this constant time under tension is keeping your muscle constantly tense. That's constant time under tension. Again, if you're doing curls and you're coming down, understand if I bring the weight all the way down, my arms extended, and it's all the way down, there's no stress on that muscle. It's loose. It's not being used. If you bring it all the way up, it can be used, but if some people bring it up here and it's kind of just resting up here, what you want to do is you want to make sure that muscle is constantly tight. So you're not coming all the way down, you're not coming all the way up. You're coming up enough to squeeze, but you're not doing this to where the weight's resting. You know what I mean? Same thing with when you're bench pressing. If you're bench pressing, anything like that, if you're locking out or you're doing squats and your legs are extended, there's no tension on the muscle, right? If you're coming down and it's resting on your chest, there's no tension on the muscle. So you want to stay in like that, I guess 5 to 10%, all the way up to that 90% sweet spot of being almost resting, almost complete, and keep that muscle constantly tense during that process. What we're going to be looking to do is 1, 2, squeeze, 1, 2, 1, 2, squeeze, 1, 2. Not coming all the way down, not coming all the way up. That is the most effective way to build muscle tissue each and every set. And again, just example, if it is 10 to 12 reps, you want to make sure you cannot do 15. When you get to that 10 to 12 reps, you need to be struggling on that 10, struggling on that 11, maybe even get the 12. I would rather you fail at 10 than feel like you can do 13. You see what I mean? Make sure you're keeping that in mind whenever we are coming to these exercises. That tempo is key. The failure, the resistance, the intensity is key. What else is key is your rest times. All right? Your rest times, let's keep them around 60 seconds, 60 to 90 seconds, no longer than that. All right? You want to make sure your heart rate comes down a bit. It's not beating too hard. Let's get your heart rate down a bit so we can best execute the next set. Also, progressive overload. Again, I said in the onboarding video, again, the first few weeks are going to seem repetitive. All right, we are going to come back to these same exercises. Every 4 weeks, we're going to switch it up, but we will be coming back to these same exercises. Why? Okay, a lot of people kind of complain about this. When are we going to change things up? We'll change things up when we stop adding muscle, when we stop putting weight and weight and weight and keep adding all this weight to it, then we'll switch it up. Now, the point of us returning to these exercises is to make sure we are adding weight week after week. So you might do curls week 1, do curls week 2, do curls week 3, that's fine. But if you start off with, example, you start off with 40, next week you're at 50, then the next week you're at 60, next week you're at 65, that's okay. You don't have to come up 10 pounds every time you come up 5. You might not come up at all, and that is fine, as long as we're not going down and we are focusing on going up. That's what's most important, and that's why we return to these exercises. That's why it may seem a little repetitive, because we want to be able to track our growth. Now, if I have you just doing a different exercise every single day and you never come back to these exercises, or you do come back to it, but you're fatigued from something else the day before, we don't know if you grew. We don't know if there's actually strength being built. We can't track much. So these are built to best track and to best see, to best feel like this growth, because at the end of the day, like I said, mindset is key. So you're coming back to these exercises and you don't see or feel like you've been adding weight, you don't see or feel like you're getting stronger, now you're going to have a negative reflection towards this, and you're not going to have an attitude of gratitude towards these exercises. I want to make sure you are seeing your growth. I want you to see your own growth. That's why it's a little repetitive. Another thing I said in the onboarding video, understand your exercise is only 4% of your day. I try to keep your workouts around 45 minutes. Try to keep them no longer than an hour. It's only 4% of your day. It's actually probably less than 4% of your day. Muscle is not grown in the gym. The gym, the exercise, all that resistance is a stimulation. It stimulates muscle growth. And we just want to make sure we're going to the gym, we're stimulating muscle growth. We have the mindset. to stimulate muscle growth. We have the constant time under tension, the failure, the intensity, the tempo, all the above to stimulate muscle growth. Once we leave the gym, that's where muscle is grown. All right. So make sure you leave that gym, get straight into your nutrition. We want to start feeding these muscles. All right. I know people have their theories on the I don't know, hypertrophy window, whatever the fuck it's called. I really don't follow that. Eat, drink your shakes, have your shake. If you're working out first thing in the morning like I do, wake up, have your fast digesting carbs, have your shake, boom, knock it out. When you leave the gym, have another one, have that shake. I know I put links in the descriptions, links in that. Formula One, literally the best supplement ever. That's the only supplement I will ever recommend over whole food is Formula One from First Form. My link should be in your description. Check it out because that's going to be key towards muscle growth. It's the fastest digesting protein on the market, and that's I will always say eat food, eat food, eat food, especially when it comes to like no fish oils, greens, supplement, like any supplement. I say food. That's the only supplement that is better than whole food, in my opinion. It's actually fact, but I'm not going to sit here and play that game, go back and forth with it. I am 100% believer in hydrolyzed whey protein isolate after your workouts. All right, it delivers nutrition to the muscle as quick as possible. While we're on the topic of protein, protein is key. If you're not hitting your protein macros day after day, what's going to happen is you're going to lose weight. You're going to lose overall weight, and it won't just be fat. All right, we're here to lose fat. We're not necessarily here to lose weight. I know it sounds kind of contradicting, but understand what it means to lose weight versus losing fat. I'll explain that real quick. Losing weight means you're kind of just losing everything. And if you're losing everything, all you're going to do is look like a smaller version of what you are now. We don't want that. We want to make sure that there's muscle underneath the fat as it shrinks down. So when it does shrink down, you actually see muscle. You're not just seeing a smaller version of yourself. Now, fat loss is just that. It's you losing fat while either maintaining or building muscle in the process. That's what we're aiming for. This is why I stress the importance of protein so much. I stress the importance of protein so much. That way, everybody that complains that, oh, I'm gonna lose muscle, I'm gonna lose this, I'm gonna lose that. The only thing we want you to lose is fat. If you do lose a little bit of muscle, it's okay. It's so easy to get muscle back through muscle memory. We don't want to get fat back. We want to make sure if we do lose any muscle, we get your muscle back. It's not fucking hard. It's going to come back in a few weeks. It's not that big of a deal. Now, again, all of this will be impossible if you try to have a shit diet. If you're constantly negotiating with yourself, if your inner bitch is taking you over, you're cheating on your diet, you're not following the plan. Everything in here is foolproof. The only way you can fail is by not listening and not following the plan. That's the only way you're going to fail in here. I set you up with the blueprint, set you up with everything you need to succeed. The only way you can fail is if you negotiate with yourself. That's the only way you're going to fail in this program is if you fucking negotiate with yourself. You listen to your inner bitch. You start cheating on your diet, start doing this. You don't do your negative mindset burpees, any of that. That's the only way you're going to fail this program. I set you up with building muscle. I set you up with burning fat because at the end of the day, like I said, the more muscle you have, the more calories you burn. And all that energy in which you're consuming, it's going to eat away at the body. The body will eat away at itself. That's why you start burning fat. You lose fat because the body's eating away at itself. If you're not consuming the protein you need, the body will start to eat away at your muscle tissue for energy to repair itself. That's all that's going to happen. Again, focus on time under tension, focus on the tempo. Focus on the intensity of when failing during your sets, at what rep ranges. Make sure you're getting enough rest for your heart rate to come down a little bit. Make sure you're getting your rest. Make sure you're getting your protein. And everything will just become a reflection of the internal discipline we receive in this program.